pleasure to be here and talk to you today a little bit about our partners and what they do for us. Next slide. We have amazing partners, and I need a clicker. Let me just grab a clicker from somebody. They'll bring it to me. We have the best partner ecosystem and community, and why do I say that? I say that because it's you, our community, that has selected these partners. You selected them as the best of breed technologies to integrate into your company's solutions. Thank you. You selected them to come sit beside you as services partners and have them help you with your most difficult business challenges. And some of you even selected to go work for these companies because you see them as innovative and having the cultures that you want to be part of. So I want to thank you, the community, for supporting these partners. I thought what I would do today is just briefly share what we're doing with some of these partners. Let's start with our cloud partners. With AWS, we work with all of the cloud partners, and we thought we'd highlight the largest three. With AWS, we are native to their console, and you can take advantage of OpsWorks for Chef Automate, which is managed by AWS, and you don't have to worry about provisioning, backup, recovery, or even optimization of your infrastructure. With Google, we recently announced integration with Inspec, where you can scan for vulnerabilities and compliance across your entire GCP estate. And then there's Microsoft Azure. We have had a long-standing relationship with Microsoft. We know that many of you, our community, grew up with VSTS and Visual Studio and are working with Azure on the latest and greatest technologies. Microsoft Build was 2 weeks ago. How many people were at Build? Several of our practitioners were at Build. And we launched Habitat integration with Microsoft's new Azure Kubernetes service. You'll hear more about this in a demo later. We understand that you want to leverage the benefits of the agility, the speed, and the microservices that cloud technologies provide. At the same time, we also recognize that most of you are in hybrid environments. We have a deep partnership with HPE, and specifically, we're integrated with Synergy, their new billion-dollar-plus infrastructure servers, to make sure that you can automate across hybrid cloud. One of the favorite things that happens in my job is when I get a call from an ISV asking Chef to be part of their product launch. It's even more exciting when I know that this community is using them. 85% of our customers use VMware. And last year, VMware called us and said, hey, we're going to launch vSphere on AWS, and we would like Chef to be one of our 10 inaugural partners to integrate with because we know the Chef community is so strong. And then when VMware launched on AWS, AWS said, hey, let's do a joint campaign together. But we also believe in choice. For provisioning, we've integrated with Terraform because we know a lot of you like that for provisioning. For CI/CD, we have Jenkins. And we're working on more and more integrations. There's more to come. With A2, we will add API toolkits so that you can add ISV integrations faster and allow our community to help build those integrations. The SI partners hold a special place in my heart. I spent 10 years at an SI because they sit side by side our customers, helping them with their most difficult challenges, often making the business cases for change. They need to be skilled on a plethora of technologies, all of the other vendors we just mentioned, and they help aid in those holistic solutions for our customers. One of the things I'm most excited about is that we have 40% of our SIs now building repeatable solutions for our customers, combining multiple technologies so that it's DevOps and completion. We have remarkable partners that are doing this, and we have remarkable community that are supporting these partners. So again, thank you. Thank you to our partners for being part of this special community, and thank you for our community for embracing this amazing partner set. with that said, the theme of this conference is do change. And when I think about do change, there's probably no company in the news that resonates more with doing change in the last 3 years and transforming than Microsoft. Many of us read Satya's book, Hit Refresh, and we've seen Microsoft come from this company we all kind of wondered what was going to happen to this amazing, dynamic, live company again. And Chef has an amazing partnership with Microsoft. And so today we've invited Jeremy Winter, who is the Director of Azure Management, to come and speak with us about his journey and change. Jeremy is a 21-year-old veteran of Microsoft who has hands-on knowledge of large-scale services. He used to run Hotmail, so he absolutely understands the challenges that many of you face in this room. He and his team build modern management solutions for the IT data center and for the cloud. So without further ado, Jeremy Winter.
Hey. Perfect. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you here. Okay, Jeremy. So I was at Microsoft for 7 years.
Yeah.
You were at Microsoft for 21, you are at Microsoft for 21 years. Most people would call that a long-timer / old-timer.
Old-timer.
I'd be interested to understand how you think about your journey with change.
Well, first, it doesn't feel like I'm an old-timer, nor does it feel like I was there for a long time. It really just has continued to move. But yeah, I can share my story a little bit on that. I've seen a lot of change with Microsoft. It's been awesome to be a part of it. I clearly, 21 years, I was a kid when I joined, straight out of college, I guess. So I've seen quite a bit of it. Saw Bill, saw Steve, saw
Steve.
Satya, and Satya's really done a great, in my view, just to even go to the rest of the conversation on the conference today, has really helped pivot the company. And when we think about that, two big areas, he's not afraid to pivot. We're really pivoted right now to the intelligent cloud and the intelligent edge. But with my journey, as you're kind of asked about that, it started with a screwdriver. My first day at work, my manager, who became a mentor for me during that time, handed me a screwdriver and said, go find your hardware. Whoa, this is a big company that I thought would have all my gear ready for me. So we went and scavenged through all the labs. There was like a black market for hardware, and built hard drives hard drives and memory were the two things we needed the most there. But built the stuff, and boy, has it changed. Now our new interns and employees come in and it's prepackaged, ready to go. But that startup mentality is definitely back, and that's been one that I've really enjoyed. As you mentioned a little bit on my own history, started out as a dev, so writing code, but always had this love for running the systems that I wrote. And so made a switch when I moved to operations and ran some of the large services, Hotmail, Passport, Messenger, infrastructure worldwide. And that was really about how do we automate this world, how do we monitor these worlds, and how do we scale? I mean, we changed the way we were thinking about the data centers all up. And a lot of that, all of those lessons, I mean, we used to keep a red phone next to the bed that would just call. It's worn out and white. My wife is really glad that I don't have that phone anymore. But that core area for us is what led me then to Azure and Azure Management. And so I think when we think about change and passion and the things that you're interested in, that's really what I did. Is I just followed kind of where my passion is and where I wanted to change. And I also wasn't afraid to go do those big leaps and steps. And I think as we look at management now with Azure, that's kind of the journey I was on. But I think it's all really fostered towards this willingness for me to change, but also the company's been through, as you mentioned, quite a bit of change.
It has. And if I think about it, like Hit Refresh was an amazing book. For those of you who haven't read it, you really should pick it up. It is the epitome of do change. But you're in the hotbed of it. I mean, Azure is the most innovative spot of Microsoft. How did you think through the community needs to accelerate the growth and adoption of Azure?
Yeah, so Azure is near and dear to my heart, as many as others, and it's just amazing to see the growth and the interest with our customers on that front. it really is our intelligent cloud that we're working through on that. I think when we think about the community and we think about some of the interest that's there, it was really about, first and foremost, what do we think about our customer set? What does our customer need? And how is it that we'll go build that with them? And this goes back to that hit refresh.
Yep.
And I just listened even where Mohammed mentioned just before us, focusing on the customer. That is core to what we're thinking about. We get in and innovate just so fast, just listening directly with our customers and innovating on that quickly. It's amazing to me just how much we'll spend time with those customers and innovation. So when I think about the community itself, it really is being fast, agile, and being with you, our customers. And we know that it's going to take time as we're dealing with these mass hybrid environments and this heterogeneous technologies. And so for me, like you mentioned on the partner side, which is how we met, is it's really important that I have native management capabilities on Azure. But we also need to be able to leverage the tools that you use. And so we really wanted to make sure as we partner with Chef, and we've had a long partnership with Chef, to ensure that we can leverage many different tools. You've seen us do this with Red Hat. You've seen us do this with Terraform. We're doing this with you. And we've done this for a long time. Like in Chef, we've been very early on. We were working with PowerShell. We did DSC support for all those Windows environments. And then over the course of the last couple of years, it's been about Habitat and Inspec, which are two things we're going to show here in a little bit. And I remember some of the early days of Adam working with Habitat when it was just an idea. And he flew to Germany, came back, came to Microsoft. We all sat and talked about Habitat. And yeah, it was pretty cool just to kind of see that concept start to unfold and be with it as early on as some of his early thinkings. And so I think our partnership with Chef has been a key, again, to really help Azure embrace the tool sets that all of you use.
Awesome. So why don't we see this stuff live? How about
Yeah.
a demo?
Let's
Habitat in Azure?
Yeah, and by the way, let me take this clicker. I think you've had a little challenge with it today. Okay, so let's do, as I think about just we'll bring out a couple people. So let's bring out Stephen Murawski, which a lot of you know is part of some of the community side. Yeah, and let's bring out Nell as well. Nell Shamrell-Harrington, we've already seen her on the demo side. As I think about just Azure, and I set this demo up, we talk about Azure, and you can see the 4 key areas that we think about with Azure, but we want it to be productive. And this is really about making it easy for the developers and yourself to just leverage out of the box what's there. We're building infrastructure services for you, and one of those key areas that we're going to show is really how can we bring Visual Studio, which we talked about earlier, Habitat, all the way to Azure. And hybrid, this is my notion on Azure, just really making sure we understand that you're going to use hybrid tools. And you're going to have hybrid environments with Azure Stack as well as Azure. And this intelligent, making sure that you take advantage of the intelligence we have already started to build, whether it's through security or artificial intelligence. And then trusted, which is a key piece, right? When we think about we're worldwide, over 50 regions. We sit there with all the compliance components within. But recently, at Build, as Kimberly was mentioning, we did an announcement. We talked about Azure Kubernetes service. Now, I saw earlier everyone raised a lot of hands raised up on the use and the love for Kubernetes, and we too want to make sure that you can leverage the same services on top of Azure. And so today, with the demo, we're going to basically show you bringing that together, simply bringing Visual Studio and code to be able to share and develop together. Bring that quickly in and package a Habitat through Builder, drop it in on Azure, all within the next, what do you think?
Yeah.
6 minutes? All right, guys, take it away.
All right.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. And welcome to ChefConf, guys. This is awesome here. Now, I have a Java application, and I've been working on it locally, and I want to get it into containers, I want to get it into Kubernetes, I want to get it into Azure. And Habitat, I think, would be a great way to do that, as well as just kind of bolting on all that cool management awesomeness that Habitat brings. Now, it's been a little bit since I've done some Habitat, so I thought Nell did such awesome work before with Habitat that I'd reach out to my friend here and say, hey, would you help me?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Stephen.
Oh, my pleasure. So we're going to use Visual Studio Code Live Share to collaborate on adding Habitat to this project. That's going to allow us to share the same project She has access to my terminal. I could share ports and things if we got to that point. But what do we need to do to get started adding Habitat to this?
Well, the first thing, since we already have the application, is we need to run hab plan init to get our Habitat plan started.
Okay. And I think we have some nice integration with Visual Studio Code for Habitat. So is there also an easier way?
Indeed, there's a convenient plugin, that Habitat plugin for Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code that should let you run that quite easily. There it is.
Oh, let's do it. So that's going to go through and scaffold out all the basic stuff I need to start with Habitat, right?
It will.
All right, so first things first, we need a plan.
We do.
Okay, I remember that much. Now, we've already worked out some of this, so let's get our plan going here. And there we go, a little bit of magic, and boom, we've got a plan going, though I could really use a code review.
I'm happy to give you a code review anytime.
Thanks.
All right, let's see here. You've got some metadata here. You've got your do prepare, do build, do install. There's just one thing missing.
Okay.
We need to know what to do when it's time for this application to run after it's been installed.
That makes sense.
Indeed, so I think what we should do is add in a run hook.
Okay.
That should let us add that in. So let me go ahead. I'm connected over Visual Studio Live Share. Let's add a new file.
Oh, so you can do that for me.
I can indeed. Yep, I'm a Mac, Steve's a PC, but we can collaborate at exactly the same time. So let's go here. Create run, and whoops. Conveniently, I have a run hook, along with my Unibunny, I have a run hook ready to go. Wait, that's new. And let's paste that in. And
Oh, I see that showing up in my project here.
absolutely, yeah. I've written a file to your system.
Cool. So now we've got our plan, we've got our run hook. I think we got the basics to get this thing going. What's our next step?
Next step is to enter the Habitat Studio. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm entering a studio on your PC.
Oh,
App Studio,
yeah.
enter.
cool.
And what the studio is it's essentially a clean room. This gives you a place to build your application, to install it, to run it, without affecting the rest of your system.
Nice. Okay. So I'm going to guess the next step is build?
If you build it, they will come.
Oh, it helps if I type it in the terminal that we are sharing. All right. So now we're building our Habitat package, and from there we can export it to a Docker container and all the fun stuff that you showed us earlier. But we need to get this thing out to Azure.
We do.
So Builder is a way that we can take my code which lives on GitHub and build it and get a Habitat package out of it.
Absolutely.
Builder can also, from what I understand, create a Docker container for me, and now we have integration into Azure Container Registry. So if we look in my origin on Habitat Builder, I've got a connected plan, and we've got some builds and stuff for it. We're going to jump over to the settings
All right.
and take a look, and so we can see that wired up to my GitHub repo.
Awesome.
But down here towards the bottom, we've got this published to container registry. And we've got wired up, oh, cool Azure logo. Nice demo registry. And we see we're publishing a container out to the registry there. We've got latest tag, package version tag, all that fun stuff.
So we can take a package, export it as a Docker container directly to Azure Container Services.
To the Azure Container Registry, yep.
Azure Container Registry.
Yep, and then from there, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump over to the Azure Kubernetes service.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So we saw the Azure Kubernetes, or we saw some Kubernetes stuff with you earlier. And so I've got a service running. I've got my container published out there. And just to give you guys a quick look at what that looks like from the Azure portal, we've got our landing page for the Azure Kubernetes service. Tells us what version of Kubernetes we're running. It's pure upstream Kubernetes. There's no modifications or changes to this, and it's a managed service which is being run for you, and you can pick when to upgrade, when not to, and you don't pay for the control plane. You only deal with your nodes that run workload. Down towards the bottom, we get a little bit of monitoring. How many nodes do I have available? All that kind of fun stuff. But from the portal, I can also do things like upgrade. So when a new version of Kubernetes is available, I can upgrade there. I can also scale out. Hey, I need more capacity. I need to reduce some capacity. We can do that right from within the portal. The last thing I want to show here is we also have some great monitoring into what is happening in this cluster. We can kind of dive in and see all the different nodes. We can get container images or information about the controllers. But we can even see here my legacy app here, container, is running with the Habitat operator in Kubernetes, in Azure Kubernetes service. Really, really easy.
Awesome.
Good stuff. So that is a nice little quick tour, I think, of an abbreviated workflow of how we can get our app running in the Azure Kubernetes service.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you. One of that was announced at Build just 2 weeks ago. But we just shipped something this week. Like I said, we're always innovating.
Yeah.
So you want to show us what we just did with Inspec?
Yes. So if you're not familiar, we have a tool that's available for interacting with Azure called the Azure Cloud Shell. It is a browser-hosted shell that has a ton of different development tools. You got Git and Vim and a bunch of and some programming languages there. And it also has the AZ CLI. There's a variant with PowerShell. And now we have, if we hop on over to our ChefConf Inspec directory, we have Inspec available. We'll just grab it from my history here. So Inspec, sitting there ready for you to leverage against Azure. Now you may have noticed in some of the Inspec announcements a while back that they talked about how you can use Inspec to actually validate not just machines, but cloud environments. And so I've got just a little profile that goes and looks at both my Azure resource group to see some basic stats about that, as well as inspecting a machine living inside of there. And most everything's green, but it looks like I got a little red I got to go remediate. So I think we're going to have to head off and do some work here.
We'll go take care of that.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeremy.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, man. Great job. Thank you so much. So again, that's really just us and partnering.
Yes.
Thank you for that. To be able to just bring our technologies together, and I hope we have, well, I know we have quite a few more in store.
We do. We have some more announcements coming in Inspire, Microsoft Inspire, so looking forward to those as well.
Cool.
I got the clicker back.
Yeah, you
I
did.
think I'm never going to live this down because the demos have been absolutely flawless today, and the biggest technical challenge has been me not having a clicker. So Jeremy, let's go back to the beginning. And you talked about your mentor and giving you advice. And since you have 21 years of experience, I'm sure you have some advice for the audience regarding change.
Sure. So this mentor, before he left the company, now owns a hockey team in Seattle. He came into my office and printed out this piece of paper, which I shared the story because I feel it fits pretty well with the message. He brings a printout, a printed dot matrix color printout. Now, just as Barry has challenges with wireless, anyone that uses these dot matrix printers had challenges with the wheels and everything. You get the paper would get stuck. And anyway, he brings this printout that says to me, stagnation is more dangerous than change. And he says that before I leave, this is the one thing that I want you to always remember for your career and for the company, that Microsoft will always change, you will always need to change, and it will be hard, but stagnation is going to be more dangerous than change. And so when we're sitting here talking before the show, I was like, wow, what a story that connects for me back to the same messages that we're trying to think through with the industry all up. We, Microsoft, are going through this. We're not afraid. We're driving through those changes, and we'll pivot where we need to. And I think as you sit back and think about how you're moving into a DevOps world, and you're thinking about where you change, just remember stagnation is more dangerous. And I think there's just so much innovation right now. So much innovation for us on the technology front, for us that are out on those front lines, that it's just a huge opportunity. Just even tenure in the last decade, the amount of innovation that's going on around software development, around just management tooling, and making us have more velocity is a key thing. And I know all the companies that I meet with, and we go work hand in hand to go bring and help them move to Azure and help them modernize. we're all struggling. We're all working through it, and it's okay. It's a step where we're at it at this point. So I would just say stagnation,
I
more
think
dangerous.
I think it's perfect.
Perfect.
Jeremy, thank you for your
Yes,
words of
thank you
wisdom
for having us. Thank you.
and for the partnership. I personally love watching the Microsoft transformation. It's pretty remarkable. Josh mentioned earlier that he thought he had the best job in the company. I'm pretty convinced that I have the best job because I get to work with some of the best and brightest in the industry, folks like yourself. So thank you. And now, in the interest of non-stagnation, let's make a change up and have Nathan come back on stage.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.